longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. And boy, oh boy, what a great and glorious weekend. A lot has happened. We're going to cover all of it. And if you're on hold, stand by. We'll get to the calls in a bit. I want to talk about President Trump's entire reset of the global economy with the oil that just happened over the weekend. In fact, I believe that this is the largest, biggest economic change on this planet in my lifetime. And these third-rate terrorist states like Iran, the only reason they've been able to do all their terrorism and cause all the problems they've been causing, is because they have all this oil over the years. Iran's the worst offender out there right now, and well, not anymore. They were until President Trump came along, and the blockades of the Strait of Hormuz going in place this morning. Iran has walked around causing all this terrorism that they back around the world. Almost all of the Islamic terrorism is funded, backed by Iran. And at the same time, they push the world around, threatening economic collapse through their oil, which oftentimes is strangling people in the Strait of Hormuz and other places to drive up prices. And when President Trump went into Iran originally and started this air campaign, a large part of his plan was what we're experiencing right now. And at this moment, at this exact moment, oil tankers of all sizes, from super tankers on down, are sailing full speed ahead, flank speed, towards the United States to buy oil from the United States, not from Iran. The Strait of Hormuz is closed down. Not only that, the whole Persian Gulf is closed down, because to get to the Persian Gulf, you have to go through the Strait of Hormuz. So tired of all these problems we have from the Gulf states. Kuwait must be freaking out. Iraq too may not be too happy about this. To get over there, to get to the Persian Gulf, you got to go from the Gulf of Oman through the Strait of Hormuz into the Persian Gulf and then back again. And it's shut down. It is out of business. President Trump has shut it down because of Iran over the weekend, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Now, President Trump wants everyone to buy their oil from the United States and Venezuela and us first. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, wait a minute. If they buy all of our oil, will not our prices go up? The United States is the #1 producer of oil in the world. We have more oil than any other nation. President Trump says we have more oil than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined, but we are also the largest producer of oil. We produce far more oil right now than we can refine, because the liberals have been very successful over the past half century of stopping refineries from being built. So our refinery capacity does not meet our demand. That's why gas in this country is much more expensive than it should be, because the liberals they're using their environmental lunatic friends have stopped refineries from being built. So what we're going to be selling on these huge oil tankers that are speeding towards the United States is crude oil that we don't have the capacity to refine in this country, because we don't have enough refineries. President Trump's trying to do that. There's new refineries being approved. Ground has been broken on at least one refinery, but we don't have enough refineries to refine all of our crude oil. That's it. And President Trump has such a big economic agenda and picture going on here that these lefties don't even get it. Between putting Iran out of business by taking their oil business from them, and I'm assuming we're going to be taking oil business away from Iraq and Kuwait at least, and maybe some of the others, because the Strait of Hormuz leads into the Persian Gulf. I haven't heard anybody really talk about that. We'll find out. But what his between that and the tariffs, President Trump's goal is for Americans to no longer have to pay income taxes. Everything will be paid between the tariffs and the oil. And I know a lot of people are going to say, Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How's that going to work? We have all this national debt. Well, what we've come to realize and learn through Nick Shirley and Doge with Elon Musk and now JD Vance is that the only reason we have a national debt is because the Democrats are ripping off the government so much. The Somali pirates of Minneapolis, this corruption that we're seeing in California. There's only a national debt because of the Democrat grift that is going on. And President Trump's going to stop that too. So by wiping out the Democrat corruption, the Somali pirates of Minneapolis, California, and elsewhere, on top of the tariffs and this new Iranian oil business that's moving towards the United States right now as we speak, we're going to be a richer country than ever. We're already the richest country in the world. We're going to be richer beyond imagination and eventually not have to pay income tax. Sounds pretty good to me, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, this is wonderful. And this is all Trump's doing. He knew that the Iranians would not come to an agreement on Saturday. And I'm sure JD Vance knew too. These people are nuts. I mean, you look at the state of Iran, right? Their senior leaders are all dead. President Trump left the president of Iran alive, so he had someone to deal with. But he took out all their main leaders. He took out their top military leaders, including the leaders of their Revolutionary Guard, destroyed their Navy 100%, destroyed their Air Force 100%, done devastating attacks to their armies, both the Revolutionary Guard and the regular army, destroyed most every rocket and rocket launcher they have, destroyed their drones, and also destroyed the factories that make their munitions, including their drone factory, rocket factory, etc. And they're also blockaded off from getting new weapons from Russia or China. And still, with all of that, they come to Pakistan on Saturday, acting like they're all that. They're not going to agree to anything. And President Trump said, no way, you're out of your mind. But this is what he wanted. I told you last week on the air that President Trump did not want the Strait of Hormuz secure and settled for traffic. He wanted to transfer the oil business to the United States. And some of you out there laughed at me when I said that. And here we are a week later. I was right. The president's doing it. Not only is he doing it, he's done it. It's done. That's why the tankers are coming here. Now, when today's news cycle begins, the Democrats are all going to be in total meltdown mode. They're going to be in total meltdown mode because anything that makes America great, they don't like, especially with Trump as president. So, how dare you take Iran's oil business away? How dare you? Well, it's done. It's a done deal. And I imagine there's going to be some strategic military strikes coming right quick because of the way that they behaved on Saturday. All right, so we have this and a lot more to talk about, including Swallwell. Swallwell has dropped out of the governor's race. That's too bad. We'll talk about that and a whole bunch more. Our number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Now, today is April 13th, and we're just 2 days away from the tax deadline. And if you've not filed your taxes yet, that's okay. There's still time to call Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. Depending on your situation, there may be time to get your taxes done and filed before the deadline. And remember, with Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, you can get your tax return back in as little as 24 hours. But certainly, if you need to file an extension, Jamie can handle that for you. Boom, very quickly. And remember, Jamie Levac can not only help you with your federal income tax, he can help you with your business taxes, your payroll taxes, as well as your business bookkeeping. But he can also handle your federal taxes no matter where you are in the United States. He's located right here in South Florida. And if you want to meet with Jamie Levac at Swift Tax in person, you certainly are welcome to do that. But you don't have to. You can do everything on the phone and through video calls. But he can help you with your taxes no matter where you are in the United States. And if you're in one of those states that has state income taxes, he can help you with that too. Give Jamie Levac a call. This number rings directly to Jamie, so you can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587 for Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. All right, we're going to take our first break of the week. If you'd like to call in, The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Back right after this. All right, we're clear. Now, listen, guys, I put a link in the description, beneath the video to my Meta glasses. I wear these Meta glasses all the time when I'm not on the air, and you can get a great deal on these Meta glasses. Click in the links below. These Meta glasses are amazing. I don't need headphones anymore. I listen to podcasts and music right on these. I talk on the phone with them. They're connected to the internet. The things that they do will blow your mind. They translate foreign languages to you. So if I'm talking to someone and they're speaking Spanish, if I'm down in Miami, the glasses can translate them for you, and they tell me what the person's saying. You can even do it watching Univision on television if you want. I've done it. They're very smart. You ask the glasses. I can think about this. I can, if I see a sign that's in a foreign language, and ask the glasses to translate the sign or a menu in it translates it. Yeah, that's right. I've got it connected to all my Spotify and everything, so I play music and podcasts through it. It's got cameras in it, both video and I can vlog with these. I can take photographs with them. If I look at a plant, a tree, a bush, any plant, and ask the glasses to tell me what kind of plant or tree that is, it tells me. The things that these glasses do are amazing. They are the most advanced leap in gadget technology, I think, since the iPhone or the iPod. They will change your life. So you'll see the link below. You can order yours, and they'll change your life. These are amazing. Now these are the Wayfair, and I have transition lenses, so outside there's sunglasses, right? And but you can get different types of frames. These are the Ray-Ban Wayfairs that I like, but they come in many different styles, which I put in the link or below. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we got a little bit of time. Okay, we have just over a minute, so I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be back, and when we come back, there's more to share. All right, we'll be back in about 20 seconds, guys. Okay, hang in there. All right, hang in there. All right, we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, and here's the president talking a little bit about the oil and gas. Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. This is one of the great benefits to having a president of the United States who's a billionaire many times over. Because, these other presidents, all of these other politicians, right? You know what they're like? They're like Eric Swallwell. They're all compromised scumbags, and they all have vices. Eric Swalwell's is probably the most common, women. But most of the politicians in the House, in the Congress, your governors, and even our past presidents, they're all like Eric Swallwell. And the establishment of each party like to control them. And they have, with Eric Swalwell, I'll give you an example, okay? Eric Swalwell, and I'm going to go through some of this scumminess with him in a little bit. Don't worry, guys. Eric Swalwell is as scummy as it gets in the sexual department, right? And the story broke and these women came forward, but there's something missing from the story. Do you know what's missing from this story about Eric Swalwell and all these women? It's so obvious that no one's noticed but me. There's no investigative reporter. This stuff just came out. So what happened is the Democrat Party establishment, they got very upset with him, which I'm going to get into in a little bit as to why this happened with Swalwell. So after we're done talking about this, I'll get into that, because the Democrats have a very devious reason for what they did to Swalwell. But these are the files. All these things on Eric Swalwell was just in their files. And they have files like this on all of our politicians, or at least a lot of them. And they use this to control them. Eric Swalwell is the perfect model member of Congress for the political establishment, because they can control him. And if they don't do what they want them to do, they start releasing things, which is what they did. And if you notice with Eric Swalwell, it got progressively worse. A little thing leaked out here and there. He didn't drop out. And then all of a sudden, one woman said he raped her. Then there's 4 women. And then they got the staff to demand he resign. And then that didn't do it. So they had the picture of him in the bed with the woman who's believed to be a sex worker. You've seen all this stuff, right? And then finally he dropped out. But there's been no investigative reporter that's uncovered this. This is just the Democrat Party establishment going into the sleaze blackmail files that they use on all of our government officials. Well, before Trump, our presidents were even like this. Their vice might have been women, it might have been money, who knows? It might have been drugs, but they all have vices, and that's what they want, except Donald Trump. So you have and what they all want, the other presidents, is they want to enrich themselves and their families through being president. Well, President Trump, everybody in his family, they're already millionaires and billionaires. I mean, I read a story the other day. How much money is Barron worth? Over $100 million? And he's starting this energy drink company, just because him and his friends want to have something to do. They're so rich, they don't need corruption, right? Like these other politicians do. They can't be controlled, the Trumps. And, President Trump talked about this many times over the years since the first campaign, about how the airports around the world are so beautiful and ours are so run down, which is true. The roads in this country are an embarrassment as opposed to the rest of the world that have these beautiful roads. Our money is not being spent where it should. It's being spent on Democrat corruption all over the world, not just the Somali pirates and this California Medicaid business and everything that you keep hearing, but things that USAID were funneling all the money through. And President Trump's enough of this. And he's restoring America. This shutting down the oil business of Iran, okay? Shutting down the oil business of Iran is part of his America First, Make America Great Again agenda. When the world are not going through the Strait of Hormuz to get oil, and they have to buy it from us, right? That's making America great. And I haven't heard any of the analysis talk about what impact this will have on Iraq and even Saudi Arabia, because because of the Persian, the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz blocks off Iraq completely. That's how you get to the Persian Gulf, right? Through the Strait of Hormuz. So the Persian Gulf, which I have heard my entire life, there's always problems coming out of the Persian Gulf from these Gulf states, which are, Islamic terrorists all over the place, sometimes even running the shows in these places. Those days are over. And great times are ahead. And President Trump, because he's not compromised like these Eric Swalwell type presidents have been, he understands money and the economy in ways that mortal men like you or and me that we just don't understand. And he knows how the world works. And that is what is going on. And, you know, OPEC, how relevant is OPEC right now with what President Trump just did? Will we join OPEC? Or will we, Venezuela's an OPEC nation, but maybe we'll form our own version of OPEC with Venezuela. The United States and Venezuela may form a new version of OPEC. And maybe we'll let some of these other countries join. I don't know. Who knows what President Trump's long-term plan is so far as that goes. But President Trump, what he has done with Iran is nothing short of miraculous. It's real outside the box thinking that shows what a genius he is. Here's Fox News talking about Iran. Yeah. Yeah, that's Donald Trump in the United States. This is great. Okay. I want to talk about, of course, Mike Lindell and My Pillow. Oh man, you know, I wonder what would my life be like if I had never gotten my first My Pillow. You know, I used to have a really hard time sleeping, and I tried every pillow there is. I tried the foam pillow, the bamboo pillows. The bamboo pillow, I paid over $200 for that at Brookstone. They all suck and did nothing. And my wife got me my first My Pillow, and after that first night, that was it. I was hooked. You know, I'd seen Mike Lindell on TV for years talking about the My Pillow and the patent fill, and it's one of those things you got to experience. I couldn't believe that. Come on, really? I've tried every pillow there is. How can this be? But it works. And you know, Mother's Day is right around the corner, followed by Father's Day. There's incredible gifts right now at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane. You can get the My Pillow that started it all for just $19.98. And I've been telling you guys, you know, as much as you see me broadcasting, whether it's the morning show, I did a show at 4:30 this morning. I did a live stream on YouTube, a pre-show. I do an afternoon show. I do things during the day. And I go 7 days a week. And do you ever see me not well rested? No, it's because I have the entire My Pillow sleep system. I have the pillows, the mattress toppers, the sheets, everything, and I sleep like a baby. And you can too. Go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code Kane. Do your Mother's Day shopping. Do your Father's Day shopping, or do shopping for yourself and sleep better than you've ever slept before. You can also order by phone, toll free 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. That's 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back. 2. All right, we are back. We got about a minute till we're back on the radio. Now, I did a live stream this morning that you may have seen between 4:30 and 5 a.m. And I drove by this gas station over by the Starbucks I go to every morning. Look at that. That's BJ's. $3.74 a gallon. It's on the live stream. You can go and verify that. And that's with all this business that's going on. If you're on hold, stand by. We got about 30 seconds or so. If you'd like to call in, you are welcome to do so. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, and penned in the live chat. But that is that's pretty amazing, isn't it? You can thank President Trump. You can call in and thank him. That's right. We're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Calls on hold, stand by. So this morning, this was amazing. So I'm doing a live stream on YouTube this morning at 4:30 in the morning on my way to Starbucks. I passed by 3 gas stations, all of them under $4 a gallon. And there's a gas station next to the Starbucks I go to. And I showed this on the live stream. I took a screenshot from my live video. If you go to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show, you can go and watch the video live. And I took a screenshot and posted this on my X at Brian Craig Show. $3.74 a gallon. So don't let people tell you, oh, it's all $4. Well, you can pay $4 or even more if you want. And this was without even using the Gas Buddy app. This was just on my way to work. 3 gas stations, all under $4. And this was the lowest just on my way in this morning, driving to Starbucks, $3.74 a gallon. Yes, thank you, President Trump. So, and that's with everything that's happened over the weekend, just $3.74 a gallon. Isn't that something? All right, and it's going to continue to go down as President Trump stabilizes everything. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Good morning. This is Richie.
Oh, hey, Richie.
Now, I don't know where to start here, so I'm going to bring it all together. People out there are going to realize what I'm saying. Have you seen downtown Detroit lately? Have you seen Los Angeles, downtown LA lately?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen downtown New York City lately? All broke cities, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen Dubai? Have you seen Dubai?
Exactly.
You know why Dubai is Dubai? Yeah. Who do you think built Dubai? Oil.
That's right.
Dubai oil.
That's right.
You know, the people are so, if you want to compare, I mean, the Middle East, if they're not waging war on each other, the money they're making on oil, they could all be Dubai. It's all over the place.
Including us.
Iran could be Dubai.
And the United States could be too.
That the United States is going to be. Because what President Trump has done is totally turned the world economy, all the ships towards the United States, and Iran is now.
It's not just Iran, Richie, because Iraq is totally cut off. Because to get to Iraq, you have to go through the Strait of Hormuz. To get into the Persian Gulf, you got to go through the Strait of Hormuz. So Kuwait's cut off, Iran's cut off, Iraq's cut off,
China.
and yeah, that's
China
right.
builds their military with the oil. Now they can't. They have all the tanks and all the stuff. They can't do nothing with it with no oil.
That's right.
It doesn't move without oil.
That's correct.
So he is such a genius. I mean, you can't even make it up.
No.
And the Democrats, I didn't see it. I don't think you saw it while he was.
Well, last week I told when the Strait of Hormuz became a problem last week, I told you guys on the air that President Trump does not want the situation resolved in the Strait of Hormuz. He said it. He wants people to buy oil from the United States and Venezuela.
Yeah, they cut their throat. They cut their own throat. They did it in front of the world. They stopped everyone from coming through. So what President Trump basically said is either everyone goes through or nobody goes through. So, they won't let in China and Russia go through.
And when you buy your oil from us, these super tankers that are coming to America right now as we speak, full speed ahead, there's no $1 million per ship shakedown tax to either. They call it a toll. It's no more of that.
But the dollar is bound by the oil. Watch what happens to the dollar. And you just go cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching like a cash register.
Yep.
We are going to make so much money. And it's not just what that money is going to be distributed. Like you said, maybe we could help Social Security. Maybe we could stop income tax. We're going to be rich if this goes through the way I think it's going to go through.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to address two senators. The senator from Connecticut who said, I forgot his name, and Tim Kaine, who almost was the president of the United States. I believe he was vice president of Barack Obama. He blatantly lied on the press.
Kaine ran with Hillary.
Hillary. Well, he got no, no questions about what he said. He keeps on bringing up that President Trump tore up.
One moment here. And my lines are blowing up with these.
Solution.
Yeah.
That there was no diplomatic solution.
No.
There was a sunset clause in there that at the end of 10 years, Iran would have had their nuclear missile. It was just a delay tactic.
Yeah.
He sent tons of cash over in the middle of the night, and he didn't think anybody was going to catch him. I think there was a reporter caught that.
Yeah.
So this is a con job, and just
you got to wonder. You got to wonder, Kristen Welker. You got to wonder what the Iranians were thinking when they snubbed J.D. Vance in Pakistan on Saturday, after everything that we've done to their country, and they're still walking in like they're king of the world. I mean, what? It shows you how insane and out of touch with reality they are, the Iranians.
Well, now they're completely not just that they were making money on the oil. That was the only way they could survive at all.
No more.
You're going to see them. They're going to be down. They'll be less than 30 days to survive because everyone's going to be hungry in that country. And then you're going to have the left, the Democrats, say, look what he's doing to the people of Iran. These are sick people in our country. I'm telling you. These Democrats are just liars. All they do is lie. All they do is go after Trump. Why don't you let the damn man do his job for a change? Because you certainly, the people out there, don't know what the heck you're doing. All you do is lie to the American people. They keep on saying this war could have been health care. This war could have been child care. These people, when they were in charge, you got none of that. You know what you got? Inflation up to Cthulhu.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm so curious how this reset of the world's oil economy that President Trump has done. The first stage when it went into effect was taking over Venezuela, right? The United States is the largest producer of oil in the world, and we have more oil in the ground than any other nation. And Venezuela is number 2 to us. Some believe that Venezuela has more oil than even the United States. So the real oil power in the world is the United States and Venezuela when they're at capacity.
You asked who figured this whole thing out. I think Trump strategically did it, but you know who he's got as the Secretary of Energy?
Bassett. Oh, yeah. Man. Yeah, that's right. The Energy Secretary,
he was the governor of North Dakota. His whole life has been in the oil.
And he's a billionaire, so he understands money. Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. This whole thing has been a setup, and from the very beginning, and Iran just stepped right into it. And I'm happy they did. Now you're going to.
Oh, it's beautiful, man.
The Democrats defending this.
The Democrats, I don't even know, Richie, if the Democrats are coherent enough to understand what we're talking about here. This is, and now, if I'm wrong, you correct me, but I think this is the largest economic reset in the world in our lifetimes, transferring the oil economy to the United States like this. Who saw this coming? No one.
Brian, that map that you have, I guess you have it, showed people out there better understand something. All those oil tankers that were in red were heading towards the Straits of Hormuz. They all made U-turns in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
And that's not easy to do for these big
And
ships.
they're all heading our way. I mean, it's incredible to see what I'm saying. And people, the dollar is going to, the dollar's been getting less and less and less. Well, that's called inflation. When your dollar doesn't buy you a lot of stuff.
Correct.
Your dollar is going to become super strong, man. This country, he did it. This guy is.
And a lot of people don't know this, but there are so many oil platforms in the Gulf of America that you could almost take a small boat from Florida to Texas across the Gulf, just going from oil platform to oil platform. I mean, like a 15-foot boat. There's so many. And these oil platforms are mobile like boats. You're going to see more of them move it back into the Gulf because of this as well.
Well, exactly right. And I want to see Europe build more windmills.
Oh, yes, please.
Greta Thunberg will run Europe. See how that works out for you with global warming and heating and climate change. Let's see how that's going to work out for everybody in Europe. I mean, they're gonna come crawling up with their knees too. I mean, they better get involved with blocking off some of this, not just the United States Navy. They better get involved, because if they don't get involved, they're not going to get the oil either, or there's going to be tremendous tariffs on them.
Yeah.
I wish these people would just let President Trump alone, let him do his thing, because he's a master class. This is more than you'll see in an economic class in any college, including Harvard. I mean, it's a master class in what he just...
I would love to see some news people send some helicopters or planes over this fleet of super tankers coming to the United States to buy oil. I mean, it's, I imagine if we were on our cruise this week, we'd probably see tankers everywhere out there in the Caribbean Sea.
Yeah, you're right. You know what the Democrats are going to say? The oil is only for the rich. They don't care about the middle class. This is what you're going to hear.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to say it's going to drive our oil, our gas. We don't have enough refineries to refine our crude oil. We're not filling these tankers up with gasoline. We're filling them up with crude oil. We have more crude oil than we can refine because of the liberals stopping the construction of refineries for the last 50 years. So, this is, we're in a new era.
You're not kidding. I think this is going to come down as the greatest manipulative move it's better than any chess move I've ever seen.
That's right.
I mean, that guy Fisher on a chessboard could have done better than this one.
That's right.
I can't believe he pulled this one off. It's incredible.
It's something.
He knows what he did.
All right, Richie, I gotta run, but I appreciate the call. All right, you take care. I want to talk about Tom Laporta. There's a new commercial that's going to be starting this week for Tom Laporta on the program that Tom recorded. And I'm going to play it for you, then I'm going to talk a little bit about it right now, but you're going to be hearing this in the regular rotation. But, it's rainy season. If you haven't noticed, it's raining all the time. I love rainy season, in Florida. But if you got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got trouble. But this is the new commercial from Tom Laporta. All right, now there's something that Tom mentions there that I don't mention. I don't think I've ever mentioned, and this is a very important point. That's why I played that commercial for you, because there's something new there that I don't think I've talked about, but this is so important. Tom Laporta will never sell you a new roof you don't need. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. And they don't have, like these other companies, these commissioned salesmen that are trying to close that deal on a roof you don't need, or maybe that's the kind of service and that you get with Tom Laporta. You got a guy comes to your house from one of these companies, and he's a salesman. His job is to sell you a roof, and not just sell you a roof, sell it to you whether or not you need it, and sell you the most expensive roof possible. Maybe talk you into something that you don't want. not that you don't need and you don't want. At Tom Laporta, he'll never sell you a roof you do not need. There's no pressure because they don't have commissioned salesmen, and they'll sell you a roof when you need one, and they'll sell you the roof that you want. Give Tom Laporta a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone. You can call or text 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. We'll be right back. All right. If you were clear, if you're on hold, stand by. All right. We got so much to cover today on the program. And I will go to the phones again when we get back. If you would like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, we're still in radio break, so if you're on hold, stand by. And this is the map you're going to see a lot of. It's all the ships that are coming to the United States. How long do we have? Okay, we have about 90 seconds until we are back. And, you know, this, let me check the exact time. Hold on. Okay. Okay, just over a minute, and we'll be back. This is like makes Democrats physically ill. Really does. This is just something they just can't handle. You know, not just Trump winning and so many great things happening, but you know, they just can't handle that the country's winning too. You know, the liberals just don't want Trump to fail. They want America to fail. They hate this country. They are the hate America first crowd. I mean, look at that. This morning, $3.74 a gallon. With all of this going on, when everything cools off, it's going to drop even more. All right, we got about 30 seconds, so stand by, guys. 25 seconds. Oh, boy. Did you guys have a good weekend? I had a great weekend. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take some more calls when we get back, and I got a lot more to cover, too. I'll get into, after the top, I'll start to get into Swallwell. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, and we're just celebrating this incredible move that President Trump has made, transferring the oil business of Iran to the United States. And it looks like Iraq, too. You know, President Trump has said many times that Iraq should have, he said this during the Operation Iraqi Freedom when Bush was still president, that we should, they should be paying us back for liberating them with oil. Well, now it's going to happen because Iraq, like Iran, is cut off because the Persian Gulf is no longer open for business. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
You know, this whole thing that we're doing with Iran and the oil, and there's multiple layers of this. Iran is part of the BRICS nations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the BRICS nations have stated they want to try and find other ways other than the dollar to pay for oil.
Mm.
If America gets the almost total control of the supply, then BRICS other nations will have no other choice but to pay for oil in the dollar.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
We have one other place on this side of the earth that is a top oil producer, and it's Brazil. And
Mm-hmm.
if we get control of Brazil, it's over.
That's right. Isn't it? It is. Absolutely, it's over. No question about it.
Yeah.
But the United States and Venezuela are going to be the new OPEC. This is what a great day. I mean, this is, you know, and the left today, they're going to start having meltdowns over this when they start to realize what's happened.
Yeah, and they were already panicking, you know. I mean, if you've seen Harry Enton and his numbers on CNN, and that's CNN now. He works for CNN,
Yep.
And his numbers for CNN, and these are push poll numbers. These aren't interior polling numbers.
That's right.
Can you imagine how bad the numbers are on the interior polls in the Democratic Party?
Exactly. This is just a great time, man. It really is a great time, isn't it? It does not get better than this. All right, Mike, I appreciate the call. You know, after the top of the hour, I'm going to get into Eric Swallwell. I want to mention something that happened to me yesterday. You know, yesterday I was at Fort Lauderdale's Riverwalk. You guys ever go to Fort Lauderdale's Riverwalk? And, you know, I have two YouTube channels, and I have one YouTube channel where I do vlogging on that, you know, and whenever I'm doing vlogging, I've got my MAGA hat on, or, you know, and I did a great video. I did an entire walk. It was almost 90 minutes long of San Juan, old San Juan, Puerto Rico. I showed both forts. I went through the whole city early in the morning when our ship docked on the cruise. And then yesterday, I made a walking tour, a vlog of Fort Lauderdale's Riverwalk and Las Olas Boulevard. And it's beautiful down there. And I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. I love Fort Lauderdale. It's my town. And I'm wearing my Trump 2028 hat, and I'm wearing an alligator Alcatraz t-shirt, that's how I dress, you know? And as soon as I started filming, this very old Karen walked by me, old lady, and she walks by me, and you can hear this on the video. She said, she calls me an effing, I'm going to say it slow so I don't slip. She looks at the hat, and you hear this on the video. This old Karen. She walks by me, and then she says, she calls me an effing a-hole. Right? And you can hear it on the video. Yeah, she called me an effing a-hole. You hear it just because I'm wearing this Trump 2028 hat. Now, who's the a-hole here? The guy wearing the MAGA hat and the alligator Alcatraz shirt, or the woman who's calling people the F word and the A word just walking down the sidewalk that they don't even know? And these liberals, you know, this is total insanity. I'm in the Fort Lauderdale Riverwalk, which is beautiful. When I was growing up in Fort Lauderdale, it wasn't that nice down there. It was not. It was very sketchy down there when I was growing up, but now it's beautiful. That's the tourist part of town. For all she knows, I'm some guy from Michigan down here enjoying the Florida sun. And if I'm some tourist and she's calling me the F word and the A word, Am I coming back to Florida? I mean, these liberals, they just have no sense whatsoever. And when I go down to liberal Fort Lauderdale, I always get called names by these liberals with my Trump hats on and stuff. And when I walked San Juan, Puerto Rico, and you can watch that video, not one Puerto Rican had a negative word for me. Not one. No one said an unkind word or did a double take or used the F word or the A word talking to me. And I'm walking through San Juan, you know, the where Bad Bunny is from, Puerto Rico. But I go to my town I grew up in, Fort Lauderdale, every time I go down there, and some tolerant liberals calling me an a-hole or using the F word or something. What's wrong with these people? They have no sense, the left. They have no sense whatsoever. Now, I got compliments on the hat too, you know, but and so anyway, if you watch that video of mine, it's on my second YouTube channel that I do. It's called Main Street Moments. Main Street Moments on YouTube. You can look it up and you can see both the Puerto Rico tour and this and the video on Fort Lauderdale Riverwalk. It's pretty close to the beginning of the video. You can hear her. You see her walk by. She's wearing a yellow dress, and then you hear her use the F word and the A word to me. It's unbelievable. This is how Democrats are. They're twisted. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the... Yeah, oh, here we go. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me? No, I just had a question. So...
Oh, here we go with the questions. Yes.
Yeah. Well, are you more concerned with the universal justice, or just like America, or your party becoming the dominant thing?
I don't understand your question. What is, you said, am I concerned about universal justice? What is universal justice? I don't know what that means.
I mean, do you have a form of universal justice? Any reference point for you?
Well, I don't know what you mean by that. What is? Tell me, when you ask if I'm concerned about universal justice, could you be specific? I don't know what that means.
Well, for me, I'm a Muslim, so for me, my form of universal justice would be that. You know.
I don't know what that means. Give me an example.
I mean, like a reference point.
Where are you calling me from? Where are you calling me from?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. You know, see, as a Muslim, you should be very much in support of what President Trump is doing in regards to Iran.
Why is that?
Well, you may have noticed in this country, Americans are scared of Muslims, right? Why do you think that is? Why are Americans afraid of Muslims?
Well, there's many reasons.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I got less than a minute till the break, okay? The reason Americans are afraid of Muslims is because of all this terrorism. 9/11, Iran backs all this terrorism, people getting their heads cut off in the Middle East and everything else. Iran gives you a bad rep. You think, if you think Muslims are, the way of peace and everything, you should support Iran being put in its proper place in the world so all this terrorism will stop. You're against the Islamic terrorism and all that, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
Okay, that is true. Okay, so you're withdrawing. All right, listen, I got to take my break for the top. I'll hang in there, okay? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Okay, we're in break on the radio, but we're still on online. So so we got that. I don't quite know what you mean by universal justice. I think what President Trump's doing, liberating Iran, is universal justice. What was the rest of your question, Virginia?
Yeah. So, is it universal justice that you support, or is it, just American dominance?
Oh, American dominance I support. American dominance is universal justice.
Okay, so how so?
Well, this is the United States. You live in it, right? You're in Virginia. The United States is the greatest country in the world, the greatest country that's ever existed. We have the best form of government and best form of justice in the world, and we have we also have the largest economy in the world, and we're the richest country in the world too, because we are the best at everything. And when America is the model for the world will be better. Mm-hmm. What country is better than the United States?
Well, I mean, okay, so the American has...
What country is better than the United States? What country is better than the United States?
I mean,
can you think of one? Is there a country better than the United States?
In terms of?
In anything. Is there any country in the world that's better to live in than the United States, in your opinion?
Better to live in, I mean, that's relative, right? Relative.
Well, I know you're in Virginia, right? So you're not living in another country. Were you born in the United States?
Yeah, I was born in the United States.
Okay.
I was born in New York. I lived in Sweden.
You lived in Sweden.
For a while.
Are you? Yeah, okay. So there's no country better than the United States, right? What, you can't think of one that's better, right? Don't you want everyone to have the best possible country?
Well, for me, it's not necessarily ideological, right? So the economy is not really based on...
It's not just the economy. There's no country freer than the United States. No other country has a First Amendment protecting your free speech, and Second Amendment guaranteeing you the right to bear arms, and our Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments of the Constitution. This is the freest country in the world. It's not just the economy. This is the most free nation in the world. They have hate speech laws in England and in Canada. Look at how gays are treated in the Islamic world. They're executed for being gay.
Well, I can't really comment on all of that. Honestly, I don't really know the details.
Yeah. So okay. So we've got. I'm going to keep you. I don't do this very often, but we're in radio station break right now. So when we get back from the radio break, I'm going to go back to you, which I don't do very often. I do not hold callers over. We're going to be back in less than a minute. And we're on YouTube right now, but we're in radio station break for about 45 more seconds. When we get back, you can, now that we've talked a little bit, you can ask your question and we'll talk, all right? The rest of you on hold, stand by. I'm going to keep you here live. We got about 30 seconds and we'll be back. What's your name again?
Haroon.
Okay. Okay, hold on, Haroon. Okay, all right. Haroon, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, hang in there. All right, the 7 o'clock hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. All right, on the line here, I did something that you could probably count on one hand how many times I've done this in the past 35 years. I've actually held a caller over through the break. On the line, we have a Muslim from Virginia, Haroon, and I held him through the break, and you asked me a question. Ask it again. Do I support universal justice or American dominance? What was your question again?
Yeah, that was my question. Yes.
I support American dominance. Yes. Don't you want America to be the model of the world? You're in Virginia. What about America being number one in the world is bad to you?
Well, I mean, it's very hard to explain, but I mean, it's just that that like overreach, seeking their interest. Overreach and seeking their interest it causes problems, right? So, for example, the foreign policy. It happened in many countries. For example, like Honduras and other countries where the American overreach has caused a lot of suffering.
Give me a specific example. See, America is not the problem of the world, it's the solution. Give me an example of recent American overreach that you think is a problem for the world. The most recent example of American overreach that you think is a problem for the world. Most recent example you can think of.
Probably Iran itself. Because
what did you say, Iran?
Yeah, I think so.
Iran, the people of Iran, yeah, now you're a Muslim man, but you're not in Iran, you're in Virginia. The people of Iran have been living under oppressive tyranny from a psychotic religious leader since 1979. They have no freedom of speech, no freedom of expression, no freedom of assembly. Women can't even show their full faces most of the time, unless you're one of the elite. How is it better? You know, how have we not helped the people of Iran by liberating them from this god-awful theocracy of nutcases over there, the Ayatollah? Would you rather live under the Ayatollah Khomeini or President Trump? You live under President Trump now in Virginia, right? He's the leader. Would you rather live under President Trump's leadership in America or the Ayatollah Khomeini's leadership in Iran? Which would be better for you? It's not a tough question, I didn't think. Would you rather live in Trump's America or the Ayatollah Khomeini's Iran?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, what?
I've seen that.
No. Which one? Tell me, which one would you rather live in? Would you rather live in Trump's America under Trump's rule or Iran under the Ayatollah Khomeini? You're a Muslim man. Which country would you rather live under, and whose leadership would you rather live under? The Ayatollah in Iran or Trump in America?
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah, what?
I guess in terms of freedom of speech, yeah.
No, in general, if you could right now live prior to this conflict going on in Iran, if you could live in Virginia, in America under the rule of President Trump, or in Iran prior to this conflict under the Ayatollah Khomeini, with the snap of your fingers, which would you live in?
Yeah, I would live here because of the success. It's in my interest. Personal interest.
It's better for your interest to live in Trump's America than in the Muslim world. Yeah, exactly. Because we're number one. So wouldn't you like every country to be the best?
Well, no. I mean, you have to think long term. I think, right? You have to think more long term than that.
Long term.
Okay. Yeah, because.
How old are you?
Okay.
How old are you?
42.
42. Where were you on 9/11?
I was in Pennsylvania.
You're in Pennsylvania. Well, you're from New York, and you were in Pennsylvania. So what were you thinking that day during the Islamic terrorist attack of 9/11 by the Iranian-backed Al Qaeda hijackers? What were your thoughts on that day?
I don't think they were Iranian backed. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Iranian. Yeah. They trained. They did some training with the Iranians. But anyway, what were your thoughts on that day? How are you feeling on that day? Were you worried?
I was a young man, and honestly, I was thinking it's more American foreign policy, and that's the.
Oh, it's American foreign policy. American foreign policy made planes crash into the World Trade Center. You were in Pennsylvania. Flight 93 went down in Pennsylvania. That was U.S. foreign policy thought? I thought it was 19 Islamic terrorists on airplanes that did that. You think it was U.S. foreign policy did that?
But it didn't come. I mean, the reason was not like, okay, they just woke up one day and decided to drive a plane into the guy just because of being haters or something like that. I don't think it was that.
When the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, they had a stated reason for it. Do you know what it was? Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. The United States had an oil embargo against Japan because Japan invaded China. And we put an oil embargo on Japan. That's why they attacked us at Pearl Harbor. So, To say that 9/11 happened because of U.S. foreign policy would be like Pearl Harbor happened because of U.S. foreign policy. 9/11 happened because Islamic terrorists hijacked those planes and crashed them into the building, into the Pentagon and the World Trade Center towers. That's what, that's why it happened. What do you mean U.S. policy? Why are you blaming America for 9/11?
No, I was a young man. I mean, that's
a young man, but so what? I wasn't alive during the Korean War, but I know what happened, right? Come on. You don't have to, how old were you on 9/11?
I think 18 or something.
18. Okay. Well, you were old enough to be drafted, old enough to enlist in the Army. But you're an adult man now. And I asked you why it happened. And you said U.S. foreign policy. That's crazy talk.
No, that was my first thought on the matter.
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call and welcome to the program. Call me again sometime. All right. Oh my goodness. What time is? Okay, we'll take another call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Wow. The Iranians are saying that part of their deal, they wanted to have us release the money. I said, yeah, that's what we should do. We should release the money right to our treasury to pay for
That's correct.
every dime we spend.
Yes.
Take their money, give them another slap in the head to wake them up and realize that, they remind me of somebody who wins a lottery. If they would be nice to us, we would have took care of them. I said, no, I don't want the lottery money because I have to pay tax on it.
Yes.
These stupid people rather have us bomb them, put them out of existence, and destroy their country rather than not agree to what
exactly.
we want, which is a simple thing.
Exactly.
Closing it straight down, man, that was a genius idea. I'm glad President Trump did that. Now everything's gonna
and it's Iran's fault. I mean, he gave Iran a fair shake. They came to Pakistan and said we're going to do whatever we want to do. I mean, they're out of their minds. They're not in touch with reality to react the way they did in Pakistan on Saturday with J.D. Vance.
They never stop. That young guy was on from Iran saying, we'll close the straits. Well, they're going to do something. He's putting a target on his head.
Yeah.
I don't get these people. They rather just die, I guess, than.
Well, the Iranians are like they're supremacist. They believe that they're a better people than any other people on earth. That they're superior in every aspect, and that their way is the way. They're religious fanatics.
Well, I don't know how long it will take them to learn that lesson, but how long can you take? It's like when you have a fighter getting them beat up. Eventually, the corner throws the towel in. They got to sooner or later. They got to conform, man. I just don't get it. They rather all die. I'm sure the majority of the population wants to have peace with America.
Exactly.
But, no, the government. I don't know what's taking them so long to overthrow their people there that are in charge. But I guess the CIA is working on it, but taking too damn long. There should be a new administration.
This is what President Trump wanted to happen. Everything's going according to plan. His whole plan with this was to take their oil business and make it America's. He just stole their whole business.
Like he does everything great. Everything he does turns out to be better than we thought.
That's correct.
Everything is going great.
That's right. All right, Doug. I gotta move on, but I appreciate the call because it's time for a break. But I want to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. The robotic laser that he has. It's not just a laser; it's a robotic laser. And what it does, it moves around the entire area. And I just to use my knee as an example, and this is true with all of the bodily repairs that Dr. Appleton has done with me when he's treated me, or you that have gone. My knee, as an example, Dr. Appleton isolates the part of your body where the pain's coming from. So I go in there. I've got my knee pain from this car accident years ago. He's very good. He's able to determine where the pain is coming from. And of course, he targets the robotic laser with that area, but it moves around the entire knee. So say that the pain is coming from the top of my leg at the knee, right? The robotic laser doesn't just treat the top, it moves, it gets the side of the knee, behind the knee, the other side of the knee, and then back on top. And through the entire treatment, it treats the entire area all the way around the robotic laser. It moves and repairs the damage that is causing you the pain. It works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. There's no shots, no injections, no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. And of course, no appointment is necessary, and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. And the consultation with Dr. Appleton is free. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. On the line, we have Louis. He had some issues with some taxes in past years. Call Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. Jamie, welcome to the Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. All right, we are still in radio break for just a bit. If you're new, welcome. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And if you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll free no matter where you're tuned in from, wherever you're watching from. 888-465-2631, pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. And if you could do me the favor, guys, of liking the video gets my channel and my video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So that's how we grow. So please like the video. And then if that hype function comes up, please do that too. That helps. But that's how people find the channel that have not yet found it here on YouTube. So please like the video. We have less than a minute and we will be back. I tried to give that guy from Virginia a chance, but he said he was born in New York, but he sees the world like Mamdani, not like us. He just doesn't have an American perspective so much. He really doesn't. And we'll be back in about 30 seconds. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Make sure you subscribe, too. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back, and I got a lot more to cover, and I still haven't gotten into Swallwell. But we will. All right, 15 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Welcome, one and all. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. You know, those questions I asked that caller from Virginia, the Muslim caller, because he's Muslim American, those are the questions they should have been asking Mom Donnie. But they didn't. All right, let's go to the phones. I've got so much to cover. I've only just scratched the surface, and I haven't even gotten to Eric Swallwell yet, which we will. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is George. I'm in Maine.
Yes, George.
Yeah, hey, I was just watching the show. I was looking. Who's on your T-shirt?
On the T-shirt I'm wearing, it's the high school graduation photograph of our favorite president, Donald Trump.
Oh, but you're not in a cult or anything like that, right?
No, unless you consider Christianity a cult, Catholicism a cult. No, It's a.
What does wearing that T-shirt have to do with Catholicism?
You asked if I'm in a cult, or you implied I was. I said no, I am not in a cult. And the only religion I'm in is Christianity.
Oh, I see. Right. So you just have like this hobby that kind of acts like a cult.
That's not a hobby. No, this is not a hobby. It's called a profession. But this is a political shirt. Like when I was growing up, I'd see people with Kennedy shirts, Reagan shirts and hats. You know, when Obama was running around, I'd see school teachers with Obama shirts and yes, I can, and yes, we can, and yes, he can, and all this stuff. Why is it okay for everyone to wear political T-shirts and hats except MAGA people?
Yeah, I remember.
No. Excuse me. Why is it okay for every other person that follows different presidents and politicians to wear shirts and hats for them, but if MAGA people do, you all say that we're in a cult? Why is that?
Do you have a flag on your?
Excuse me. That's not an answer. Are you incapable of answering questions? Do you have some mental issue that only allows you to ask questions? Get off the phone. What an idiot. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Okay. How are you doing today, by the way?
Okay, as if you care.
Why do you get off on a negative? Like,
well, the way you ask, you don't care how I'm doing today, and the way you asked the question was so bizarre. But anyway, I am doing well. How are you, Greg?
I'm doing great.
Now I can tell.
I'm doing great.
Yes, always.
Yeah, I actually have a very satisfying life. I have like a great girlfriend who, by the way, commented to me. Yeah, by the way, yeah, that's important. Relationships are important. Don't you agree?
Go ahead.
Okay, but also,
I'd like to remind you, open phones are on Friday. Hold on, my phones are ringing off the hook, and my patients are wearing thin. All right, are you back, Greg?
All right.
Yeah, so get to the topics.
Let me just.
He's got a girlfriend, guys. He wants you to know.
Let's
yes.
go to Iran.
Yes.
Yeah, a younger girlfriend. Amazing. Executive.
How much younger? How much younger?
She's 40.
Okay. How old are you?
The same age.
You said she's a younger girlfriend. Now you're the same age as your girlfriend?
No, the same age. The same age as you. We're both the same age.
I'm going to be in a week. In a week, I'm going to be 55 years old.
Actually, I'm 2 years older than you. Actually.
Okay, you're 57. Okay, so correct. Think about it. So when you were a junior and senior in high school, this girl of yours was born. I mean, that's kind of creepy to me, but you know, hey.
I wasn't really.
I mean, when I was a junior and senior in high school, that's when I was 17. you know, I was going out with other 17-year-olds or 18-year-olds. I wasn't thinking about going out with 0-year-olds, but that's the age gap there, you know. Anyway, we'll get back to Iran.
No, all right, back to Iran. Let's go. Let's get to Iran. Okay, you told me. I know your laugh is creepy. It's really creepy.
Yeah, I know. It's creepy.
Okay, let me ask you. Didn't you just say we spoke Friday and you said the war is over? For the second time, is the war over now, or are you switching your?
The war is over. Yes. From this point forward, there's other things in play. The war that had been going on is that major air campaign component, while not an official war because war was not declared, that part's over.
But we're still going to attack Iran.
There may be some surgical strikes from time to time. Absolutely.
No. Are we still going?
I mean,
to attack Iran?
listen. The Wild West has been tamed, but we still have cops out there picking up bad guys every once in a while, right? I mean, you know.
Like you said, you know what the whole thing is. Your audience will do Richie.
I bet you, your younger girlfriend thinks you're brilliant.
She knows I'm brilliant.
Yeah, that's why you got to go out with the younger girl. You know, I used to see. I'm at this age now where I see a lot of people, my wife and I, a lot of our friends that we've known, you know, they get divorced. People get divorced in their 40s a lot, and in their early 50s a lot. I know. I'm not talking about you and your marriage, okay? But we see this a lot, and I used to. When I was younger, excuse me, I'm speaking, and I used to think when I was a younger man, I used to think that men, when they got divorced or were single and they were older, like my age or your age, that they went out with younger women just because they wanted a younger, hotter model. And then I realized that's not the case at all. And the reason that older men go out with younger women is not because they're younger and maybe hotter than somebody their own age. It's because they can't handle a woman their own age. They go for younger women because they think they can control them more because they're younger.
Well, you know what? I don't know how you got back to this topic. We were talking about Iran, then you jumped back to this.
Well, I'm the host. I decide what the topics are, and I can change the topics at any time.
You know what? By the way, she told me she paid $4.11 in Palm Beach County for gas.
Well, I went to a gas station this morning that I showed on YouTube, and there's a picture of it on my X. $3.74 a gallon.
And you think that's a great price for gas?
It's under $4, and it's going to go down more over time. All right, hey, listen. Notice he did not. I got to run for the break. But notice you didn't deny this younger thing about control. I noticed. All right, Greg, you take care. Oh my goodness. Are you risking your retirement? You don't have to. Call Jupiter Joe Thomas. You know, stop risking your retirement. You know, all this market's up, market's down, and when it's up, everyone's happy, but when it's down, it's depressing. You know, I can't handle that aggravation, and I can't handle that stress. And you know, when you're in your retirement years and you're no longer in the workforce, you're probably not in a position, if you lose money on an investment in the market, you're not in a position to make that money back because you're no longer in the workplace, right? You know, with annuities, you don't have those worries at all. Give Joe Thomas a call, right? Get that guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life, each and every month, and not have to worry about the fluctuations in the market because your investment is always safe and secure. Here's the number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. The consultation is free. And after that consultation, Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you based on your situation, okay, and your goals. And do not make the mistake of thinking you don't have enough money to get invested in annuities. Call Joe Thomas. He'll tell you your real situation. And if you're a senior who's working a part-time job to earn some extra money, maybe you don't have to. You probably don't, right? You know, there's a lot of senior citizens that are working as Uber drivers and Lyft drivers or doing food delivery or Instacart deliveries. Call Joe Thomas, 561-743-0999, 561-743-0999. You can also find his number on his website, jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back. All right, we'll be back in just over a minute. We're still in radio break, but oh my goodness. Greg 2's call. I've got a girlfriend and she's younger. Oh, well, you guys impressed? Oh my goodness. Did any of you watch the video on my other YouTube channel with the liberal woman calling me an effing a-hole? I mean, my goodness. I got this hat on and the alligator Alcatraz shirt, but I think the hat is, I don't know if she saw the shirt. She definitely saw the hat. Unbelievable. All right, hang in there. Welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Okay, I wanted to share this. Mark Kelly, remember he used to be an astronaut and all this stuff, and he's speaking at the National Action Network. And isn't that Al Sharpton's thing? And of course, space is on everyone's mind because of Artemis 2. Listen to this. This is Mark Kelly. Really? So he wants diversity. Well, then why was he the commander of a shuttle mission? Why didn't he give his seat up on the shuttle to a trans black man? Why didn't he give his seat up on the shuttle? And he went into space more than once. Why didn't he give his seat up on the shuttle to a woman? Furthermore, why doesn't he give up his seat in the Senate to an Asian black lesbian? You can be biracial, right? You could be black and Asian, two parents, you know. What is he talking about here, right? He's talking to Sharpton's group, acting like he's all about diversity. You know, Mark Kelly, who thinks he's going to be president of the United States. You know, Mark Kelly is planning on running for president. Give up your seat in the Senate. Give your Senate seat up to a non-white person. All right, now before we get back to President Trump and this amazing thing he's doing with the oil, I want to talk about Eric Swallwell a little bit, which this is what's going on in California is amazing. And unfortunately, Eric Swallwell is dropped out of the governor's race. And I did not support this. I wanted Eric Swallwell to stay in. And I'll tell you why. And, you know, the way the California primary is working is a little different than at least in most states. You know, as an example, here in Florida, we operate like most states do. California does everything in a different way because that's just how they are. When we have primaries in Florida, we have a Republican primary and a Democrat primary for every office. And whoever wins the Democrat primary is the Democrat nominee. Whoever wins the Republican primary is the Republican nominee. And then the number one Republican runs against the number one Democrat. California's primary is different. People are in it from every political party. Republicans and Democrats are in the same primary. And whoever comes in first and second, that's who runs against each other in the general election, right? So in the California primary, there's not a Republican or a Democrat primary. There is just a primary, and all the parties are running against each other in the same primary. Okay? Did you guys get it? Does it make sense to you? So whoever comes in first and second, okay, become the two people that run in the primary election. Well, the latest we don't have any polls reflecting what's happened with Swallwell over the weekend, and certainly no polls with him dropping out. But first and second place right now are two Republicans, Steve Hilton and that sheriff whose name I can't remember off the top of my head are in first and second place. Okay. So, and Swallwell was in third place by several points. So before this broke over the weekend, if the way it looked is there was no way for a Republican not to be first and second, and then we'd have two Republicans duking it out in the general election. And of course, we got to support Steve Hilton in the general election because President Trump has endorsed him. There are three, is it 3 or 4 Democrats running? I got the poll here. It's either 3 or 4 Democrats are running. Out of the Democrats, Swallwell was in first place among the Democrats, third place in the primary as a whole. The Democrat vote, the reason that the Democrats were so far behind is because it was split so much. And some of the big unions in California, including, I believe, the teachers union, but some of the big unions in California have not yet made their endorsement. So when I first saw this story, my first thought was, oh, let's get Swallwell out of there. And then I heard from a friend of mine in California, and he was telling me, no. And then I went and looked at how the primary worked out there. I didn't realize how the primary worked in California. I just assumed it was like, I just assumed there was a Republican and a Democrat primary. When I realized it's a cross-party primary, everything changed. I want Swallwell to stay in because Swallwell's splitting the vote and he's in third place, and there was no path. The first and second place was most definitely going to be Republicans. So without Swallwell dropping out, we would have, without question, a Republican governor in California. And with all of this corruption being uncovered, that's exactly what we want. Now, we'll have to see, now that he's dropped out, Swallwell, we'll have to see how things go. But now the Democrat vote is not divided 3 ways, or is it 4? I can't remember if there were 3 or 4 Democrats running in California. Some doing much better than others. But now the Democrat vote is more united. So there's a chance that a Democrat will come in second, possibly. We'll see what the latest polls are in a few days or a week. But that's why I did not want Swallwell to drop out of the race. I wanted him to stay in. And unfortunately, Swallwell has dropped out. We still could have the first and second place be the Republicans because they are the front runners. But with the Democrat vote not so split, it could change everything. Okay? Yeah, I know. It's, you got to think about this. Having a Republican governor, a real Republican that's going to get to the bottom of this corruption would change this country amazingly so. So getting a good Republican governor in California there's no better time than now to have a Republican governor of California, a real Republican, not some fake one like Schwarzenegger. Okay, I'm talking about a real one, and that might be a little more difficult today. We'll find out, but I'm upset that Swallwell dropped out. Now, the thing about Swallwell, though, that I'll tell you, I'm going to take, this is a short segment. I'm going to take this break on time so that we can be on time for the rest of the show. I want to remind you there is still time to call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. It's the 13th, the 15th is tax deadline day. Depending on your tax situation, there may be time to file your taxes still. And with Jamie Levac, you can get your return in as little as 24 hours. So if you haven't filed yet, there still may be time. If you need to file an extension, Jamie Levac can do that for you on a dime. So I'm going to give you his number. You can call or text Jamie Levac if you need an extension, or there still may be time to file for you, depending on your situation. And remember, Jamie Levac at Swift Tax can help you with your taxes no matter where you are in the United States. He is located here in South Florida, and you are very much welcome to meet with him in person if you'd like. but you don't have to. You can do everything over the phone and on video calls. He can help you not just with your federal taxes, but your business taxes, your payroll taxes, even your bookkeeping. And if you're in a state that has state income taxes, he can help you with your state income taxes too. Give Jamie Levac a call at Swift Tax or a text right now. There's still time. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. We'll be right back. Mm-hmm.
I doubt they would do that because I have a relationship, and I think they wouldn't do that. But maybe they did a little bit at the beginning, but I don't think they would anymore. No. But if we catch them doing that, they get a 50% tariff, which is a staggering amount.
Yeah. So he's talking about China in particular, but you know, Iran, not only have they lost their military, they're completely surrounded, and with this blockade going into effect in the Strait of Hormuz today, later this morning, he said 10 a.m. Is that Eastern time or Persian Gulf time? I don't know. Offhand, do you guys know? I think it's 10 a.m. Eastern time. There's nothing coming in or out. They're surrounded, and there's no relief coming. He's totally breaking them. Mm-hmm. See, this is a complete 100% reset of the global economy. You know, oil makes the world go round, right? It makes the world go round. And, you know, these politicians that we had before President Trump, I've said this many times because it's so true. We know how President Trump made his money: golf memberships, properties, television, you know, everything he's done. These other politicians, how have they made their money? Well, they sell something too. They sell America out. And this country, it's amazing that we're the largest economy and richest country in the world with all these corrupt politicians we've had. But President Trump is doing a complete reset of everything in the world economically. And of course, everything centers around the United States. Started with the tariffs and now the oil economy, which is the most vital resource on the planet because everything runs on oil. In the United States and Venezuela, what's going to happen with our economies is going to change the world in ways that nobody even dreamed was possible. And, you know, taking out Iran is what's making that possible. They use that Strait of Hormuz as a weapon to terrorize the world, that they're going to cut off the oil. They can't cut off the oil anymore because no one's going to be getting it from them. You know, and once they start getting it from us, places and countries and ships that don't normally sail here, Iran, how are they even going to rebuild what's been blown up? Right? All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Here's President Trump last night at Andrews when he got back to D.C. on the tarmac. Yeah, I mean, for them to come in there thinking that they're entitled to have a nuclear weapon, first off, they're insane. They're insane to even ask. But they really believe that they have a right to a nuclear weapon. We might as well detonate the weapon ourselves and get it over with, because if they get a weapon that is functioning, they're going to use it. Look at them. The arrogance to come into that meeting. Now, I got a message. One of our cruisers, I don't want to say who because maybe they don't want everybody in their family to know, but one of our cruisers went with their wife to Life Imaging FLA over the weekend and had the heart scan done on Friday, I believe. I heard from him either Friday or Saturday. So they went in Friday to have the heart scan done. And, it's very common for couples to go in. Couples, you have a similar lifestyle. So both may have the same concerns about your heart. But, also, even if you don't smoke and your spouse does, you're a smoker too, right? With the side stream smoke. And it is so common for couples to go in the Life Imaging FLA and have the heart scans together. And also, don't forget to ask about the cancer screening, and men, ask about the virtual colonoscopy as well. All right. Life Imaging FLA have locations in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach County. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now, with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250, say free heart scan, and you will be connected in seconds. Well, today's show is flying by. 2 hours are down. We've got one to go. Call us on hold. Stand by. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll free 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. It is Monday, April 13th. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be back right after this. whatever immigration documentation he had was not sufficient for him to get the driver's license, and he was trying to talk them into it. And I couldn't pick up enough of the conversation to hear what the other person was saying, because they were behind glass and it's hard to hear them through the glass. They don't have like an opening. It's just that you got to hear them through the glass. So I couldn't hear them too much. And I was trying to pick out if this would have been no problem prior to these changes that Ron DeSantis made with driver's licenses here in Florida, or what. But in this, and he was a white European, and he could not get his driver's license with his whatever kind of visa he had. I don't know what kind of visa he had. I couldn't hear if it was new, if it was expired. I don't know how long it was for, but he was desperate to get that driver's license, and they would not give it to him. So, so Ron DeSantis has done a lot of great MAGA things. I mean, Florida is like MAGA paradise, right? It really, truly is. And what I saw at the driver's license office let me know that Ron DeSantis, these aren't just news stories. He's actually been doing it. I've never seen, and I've been to the driver's license offices every few years since I was 15, 16, right? Like anybody else in Florida. I've never seen someone arguing with the worker who was a foreigner to get a driver's license that they wouldn't give him to him. So yeah, the DMV sucks. I mean, that's the worst place to go, but it's not as bad as it used to be, at least not on Friday. And it made me feel good that this and I point out that he's a white European because they always want to paint that all immigrants are non-white. Now, there's a lot of white immigrants too, right? Like this guy. And well, he's not an immigrant. He's just visiting. He has some kind of visa. But I have never been at a DMV where I've heard someone have a problem. And I've been down there with people that have foreign passports. Because I remember the last time I went with my wife, this had to be close 10 years ago. How long are the driver's licenses good for? And my wife and I were in line, and there were a lot of people in line, and they had passports. And I would look if I could, Brazil or whatever country. But I didn't see any passports, and the only non-American citizen that I was aware of couldn't get a driver's license in Broward County on Friday because of his visa, and that's a new. I've never seen that happen before, and I'm assuming because of Ron DeSantis. So Ron DeSantis has been a spectacular governor. His problem is he let his wife work him up to run against President Trump in the primary. A big mistake. His wife messed up everything for him. All right, now, do you or someone you know or love suffer from neuropathy? If so, listen up. You want to call Lighthouse Medical. Lighthouse Medical is amazing. You may have neuropathy and not even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness? Are you dizzy? Are you falling down from time to time or all the time? Do you have the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet? Do you have no feeling at all? Well, if you have those symptoms, you may have neuropathy, and Lighthouse Medical can diagnose you whether or not you have it. But Steve went in over 3.5 years ago for his neuropathy, and he had it in the worst way, and they rid him of his neuropathy. He saw relief after the very first treatment. They shortly thereafter rid him of his neuropathy symptoms, and over 3.5 years later, his neuropathy has not returned. Call Lighthouse Medical. They can help you with your neuropathy no matter where you're located in the world, okay? Now, if you're local, you can make it in person. That's awesome. But if you're local or in another part of the world and you can't make it in person in Pompano, that's okay too. But mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. Give Lighthouse Medical a call and rid yourself of neuropathy. Or if you have a loved one, a spouse, a parent, a mom, a dad, an aunt, an uncle that has neuropathy, call and make the appointment and take them. Here's the number, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. We'll be back in less than a minute. If you're on hold, hang in. If you want to call in, the number's toll free and pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Yeah, I'd wondered if that guy at the DMV, if he would have been able to get his driver's license before DeSantis made all these changes in enforcement, right? And my guess is no, he would have had no problem. All right, stand by. Welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. I wanted to mention one more thing about the DMV because I mentioned the one I went to, Coconut Creek, Parkway, and Banks Road. They were so nice and polite. Everyone. My wife and I, we dealt with three different people that worked at the DMV when we were there Friday. I've never seen DMV people so nice. And I'm wondering if all this pressure that's been taken off of them because of DeSantis has just made it a better place to work. I don't know. All right, so let me get back to this. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. I want to play this clip from MS Now, the lowly rated cable news network formerly known as MSNBC or MSDNC or MS13BC. They're now MS Now, but they're still selling the same garbage. I want to play this and I'm going to talk about it. Listen, this is Ari Velshi with a lunatic liberal guest. Listen to this. Okay, that's MS Now. So what this liberal jerk is saying, guest is saying to the liberal jerk host Velshi, is that U.S. military personnel can be arrested and tried for crimes against humanity, like the Nazis in Nuremberg after Trump is out of office, because of Iran, and which is sick and twisted on so many levels. And I had a call earlier in the show from the Muslim caller from Virginia. And you heard me say this about him, like when I talk about Mamdani and his wife. That caller and Mamdani and his wife, they don't view the world from an American perspective because they're Muslim. And they have a whole alt outlook on everything. They don't see things like we do. It's totally alien to the American experience. Velshi here on MS Now, he's Muslim as well. And because he's Muslim and liberal, he views us as the aggressor, not Iran, even though Iran's done all these things for the past 47 years that I don't need to go through the list, And that's one of the dangers in American media today, where we have not just biased liberalism, but we have people in government and in media, national media, and in federal government that are an American so far as maybe their birthplace or their immigration status. They're an American, they have the papers, but they don't think like us. And they don't view the world like us. It's a completely foreign viewpoint, as you are seeing here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's Dr. Nine out of California.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, you know something? You know what I've noticed by listening to your callers and what we're currently going through as far as this Iranian situation is that, collectively speaking, all of these Democrats, the people that call, are so weak. They're so literally weak. They're weak in spirit. They're weak in mind. They're weak in conviction.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that they're strong is in their weakness and their hypocrisy.
Yes.
There are thousands of people that were murdered in Iran for protesting.
Tens of thousands recently.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't attempting to run over police officers.
Yeah. Hold on while I answer these other lines. Yeah, they were doing what you and I are doing, voicing their opinions about politics and world affairs. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
What they're doing what we're doing right now. Right? Which is and they were murdered in the streets.
Yeah, but instead of rising up and being supported, finding a way to give those people some support, they end up bitching about their gas.
Complaining.
If you want to bitch about the price of
complain.
If you want to bitch about the price.
Complain.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're weak. They're weak. Now, when I say this, I'm not saying this to people who have legitimate issues. But where are the people and like the cojones of the people that went through World War I and II, where they were rationing stuff? If you want to be upset about, like, I don't get it.
Well, you make a good point, about rationing in the Second World War. There was obvious rationing with certain things like gasoline and maybe rubber, tires. But there was a lot of rationing in food, but there was a lot of rationing that went on where people would turn in their pots and pans so they could make tanks and airplanes out of them. And there were other things too. A lot of that rationing was not necessary, like the pots and pans thing to make planes. They don't make tanks and planes out of iron skillets, but they wanted people to feel a part of the war effort at home. So they set up these things that they took part in. There's no sense of Americanism from the left, right? There's just anger. They hate the country. They're very angry that we won the war. It hasn't sunk in that President Trump has taken the entire oil economy away from them, from Iran and Iraq permanently, and transporting it here. And when that sinks in, which may happen today, they're going to start having major fits over that. They just don't like America being number one. They hate the country.
Well, yes, with that being said, if you're upset about the oil prices, then actually take all that effort and target it towards the one that actually ends up doing something about it, like the taxes. I don't get upset about the gas in my state because it's run by a bunch of Democrats and they're not going to end up giving the money. They don't even use the money for what it's intended for because they're criminals and they siphon it off and use it for other stuff anyway.
Well, listen, I'm late for the break at the bottom, but I got to cut you short, but I got to run for the break. All right. The rest of you on hold, stand by. I want to remind you that even though today's the 13th and the tax deadline is on the 15th, there's still time to call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax and handle your taxes. Okay. And with Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, you can get your tax return in as little as 24 hours. And depending on your tax situation, there may be time to get everything together and filed on time. But if you need an extension, he can certainly help you with that. His number, you can call or text Jamie Levac right now, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587 for Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
That number rings directly to my cell phone, 954-773-1587.
Yeah, this is Stephen Miller. Listen to this. This is a little secret that's been going on, guys. You hear that? 1 mile a day, a new border wall. Boy, oh boy, the liberals. We're still in radio station break, guys. We'll be back in just over a minute. Okay, we're still in radio station break. About a mile of wall is being built a day of new wall. Isn't that awesome? Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. 1 minute and we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones. When we get back, the number's pinned in the live chat. Oh, yeah. Doesn't get better than that. If you're new, welcome. And please, guys, if you've not already done so, please like the video. Liking the video helps grow the channel. That's how people find the channel that have not yet found it. And if you're new, welcome. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And 40 seconds, we'll be back. We're in radio station break still. Hang in there. And I will be back this afternoon with a podcast. And on the podcast, I take live calls just like this. All right, 30 seconds. Well, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
Great. Listen, I'm so glad you mentioned two key things.
Oh, hold on, Chris. My phones are just blowing up here. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I mentioned two key things. What were they?
Well, one, obviously, that the loudest speaking liberals that are out there influencing,
yes.
They don't have any. They don't want America to succeed. They want us to fail for one biased reason or agenda or another.
Mm-hmm.
And a perfect example, the MS Now that you played the soundbite. Those people. My goodness. Do they realize they wouldn't have a job if they wanted the U.S. turned into what they are leaving it to turn into, or the other countries that they were referring to? They wouldn't even have a job.
I mean, when this anchor on MSNBC is doing a segment talking about war crimes being committed by U.S. service personnel against Iran, I mean that, and the host is a Muslim American. I mean that tells you that his mind is not where yours and mine, where Americans' minds are. He's in another place.
Absurd. So really, again, everyday citizens working, and we're busy enough. We need them to do their jobs. They need to see through this distraction, and they keep throwing out this, no kings, this and that. Come on, you really listen to it and take time to think for yourself, and you're going to see they're doing the old Solinsky thing. They're the ones that are creating the kings and the dictatorship. You try and go against anything that they, if you're not like-minded like them, what do? They cancel you. They try and ruin your life, everything. And
they want you. The liberals think that if you don't agree with them, you should not be alive. I mean, look at. Have you seen?
Exactly.
Have any of you seen what happened to Savannah Hernandez over the weekend? Savannah Hernandez is a young millennial conservative journalist. She works for Turning Point USA. I met her at Turning Point USA, and she's kind of like Laura Loomer. She goes inside these liberal groups and interviews them when they're doing protests. And she got attacked by an entire family of foreigners in Minneapolis over the weekend. The mother, the daughter, and the father, and they beat her up on camera. And it's pretty brutal. And if Charlie Kirk were alive, if the Never Trumpers had not assassinated him, his whole show would be about this today. Savannah Hernandez. And she's a small girl too, and the father is huge. She said that he identified as a Ukrainian Iranian, whatever that means. And Kash Patel did post on Truth Social. They've been identified, and they're going after him. But that's how liberals are. If you don't agree with them, they want you dead. They think you shouldn't live.
Wow, I mean, that's horrible. And just example after example over that intolerance.
Well, if you watch the video, all these videos are on my X, or you can look it up. Savannah Hernandez. The father started beating up on her. He's a grown man, and she's a young girl, in her 20s and small, and he felt totally justified in beating her up. And there's cameras all over, and he's doing it in the daytime with his wife and daughter.
I wish I were there. That's just the sort of thing that gets me happy to do in guys.
Protect a woman's honor. That's right.
Exactly.
It was
probably would have taken me away.
Yeah.
Behind it all, and it would have been down. But yeah, that I can justify, and that's horrible.
Well, that's what men are supposed to do, and is stand up. But she was in a sea of liberals. But even but if you go and watch the videos online, I mean, it was pretty brutal and frightening. It was pretty frightening. Hey, listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call, Chris. All right, you take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dalston, Louisiana.
All right, Louisiana. What's on your mind?
I was thinking about the oil thing going on. I know that America has a lot of oil.
More than any other nation on earth.
Correct. Okay. Now we got Venezuela's oil.
That's right.
I'm thinking we go to Iran.
That's right. That's what President Trump's doing. The whole Middle East is going to be out of business. Between the United States and Venezuela, we're the oil powers now.
It's crazy. We quadrupling down on what we already have. Hey.
Yes, that's right. I know. Isn't that something?
It's amazing.
It is.
I love Trump. I love Trump.
That's.
He's doing what's best for our country.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of the reasons the liberals hate him, because liberals don't want to do what's best for this country. They want to do what's best for other countries. They think we have too much.
Right. I have children, so I'm thinking about them. I'm thinking about their future. It might not help me. It might help them now in the future. It's definitely going to happen.
I don't know. Maybe when your kids go to college, they should study something that'll get them in the oil business, because you're in Louisiana, right along the Gulf of America. It sounds like the oil business is where the future is in this country.
Right. Yeah. And I try to teach them that, but it's hard,
Mm-hmm.
Liberals out here, they run into colleges and stuff, and
I know.
I don't like that.
No, I know it's tough. It's tough. Well, listen, Louisiana, I appreciate the call. All right, thanks for calling. All right, thanks for calling. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. Listen to this. This was a poll on CBS's Face the Nation yesterday. Okay, so CBS's own poll, liberal CBS, that hates every Republican who's ever lived, okay, their own poll says that the majority of people support Trump's position and the Trump agenda in regards to Iran and oil. You can't have the Strait of Hormuz open with the Iranians running it or threatening it or charging toll taxes to go through it after they sell you the oil. You just can't do it. The popularity of President Trump is so far above and beyond what anyone realizes, even most MAGA people, really. And I was watching, I mentioned this on Friday, did a little bit, talking about Alex Jones. I remember I played a little bit of a meltdown Alex Jones had. because President Trump excommunicated Alex Jones, Tucker, and a couple others from the MAGA movement on Thursday, and Alex Jones was freaking out on Friday. Alex Jones spent the weekend just having these unhinged rants against President Trump because he is in such a panic over being excommunicated, because he understands the popularity of President Trump and that this MAGA divide is an illusion. And Alex Jones is concerned as to whether or not he's going to have an audience left now that Donald Trump said that he's fake. And I can understand him feeling that way, because there's no MAGA divide. Not only is there no MAGA divide, the majority of people that are not MAGA are on Trump's side. I know it doesn't seem that way because of the fake news media, but it's true. And for CBS to have a poll showing that the majority of the people they poll, when they hate Trump, support and back the president, that tells you everything you need to know. Now, I want to talk about Joe Thomas. I have talked to so many of our listeners in the time that Joe Thomas has been with us here on the program. I've talked to people from every income bracket, right? People that have government pensions, people that don't have a pension and have been getting by on Social Security, people that are wealthy, that are listeners of this program. Every income bracket you can imagine are clients of Joe Thomas's. And I've talked to many listeners in every income bracket you can imagine. And they all tell me the same thing, because I always ask them, because it helps me talk to you about them. You know, what did Joe do for them that had, because they're all, oh, Joe's great, Joe Thomas is awesome. I was like, well, why? What has he done? And it's all the same thing. It's that guaranteed money every month. That guaranteed money, no matter what, whether they're very wealthy or are been scraping by on Social Security, or someone in between with a pension, or maybe they have investments of other kinds. And they all say that Joe Thomas calls it mailbox money, which I think is the perfect term for it. They say that money, it hits the bank every month right on time. I don't have to worry. It's that guaranteed income. You know, and also you do hear the bonus, because there are annuities where you get a 10% bonus on your money on day one. Some even have better bonuses than that, higher bonuses. But no matter what, it all gets down to that they get that money each and every month from their annuity with Joe Thomas. Call Joe Thomas. The consultation is free no matter where you're located. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, JupiterJoe.com. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our last break of the morning and be right back.
I suggest you give me a call. If you have even the slightest doubt that they're not getting every dollar that you need, that's where I come in. I'd be more than happy to take a look at everything. It can be cumbersome, gathering all the documents, making the decision, but calling me and creating a strategy one time could save me a lifetime. Taxes are very stressful, very complex. The language of its own. Instead of just trusting us with anybody, give me a call. At the end of the day, I'm here to help you save money any chance I get. And if you call, it's free. 15 minutes with me on the phone. It helps you.
Good morning.
Hey there, we got less than a minute, so stand by. Okay, 20 seconds. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the first gold and precious metals report of the week. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Metals are mixed right now as far as up and down, but Friday we saw gold close at $4,747.20. That was down $18.30 on the close of the week after trading in a range of $47.30 to $47.95 on Friday. Silver was up 55 cents on Friday, closing out the week at $75.76. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $47.10 so far on the low to $47.22, and right now gold is at $4,721, down $25.20. Silver down $1.85 at $73.91. Platinum down $8 at $2,056. And palladium up $18 at $15.25. So the markets are pretty stable and still trading in our ranges we've seen for a while, but looking very firm. Oil is up back over $104 a barrel this morning. All of the stock markets look to be much lower this morning, and the dollar is showing some weakness.
Yeah, well, listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. And remember, if you can't make it in person, no matter where you are in the world, you can do all of your transactions with William Youngerman over the phone and through the mail. His number, toll-free, 800-327-5010, 800-327-5010. Stop in Boca, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And when you enter the building, William Youngerman is directly in the lobby, directly across the lobby from the bank. All right, William Youngerman, have a great day. We'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, you too.
All right, take care, take care. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Ralph in Missouri.
Hey, Ralph, what's up?
Hey, how come you're not talking about Viktor Orban's huge victory?
Because I really don't follow European elections, and I'm not really I'm concerned about America, not Hungary. And he ran the country for 16 years. I think he's had a good run. To answer your question,
that's a good run. They have the worst economy in the whole EU. Doesn't sound very good to me.
Okay, I don't care about Hungary.
Why was J.D. Vance obviously cares?
Well, I'm not J.D. Vance.
So is Marco Rubio.
Hey, Marco Rubio likes UFC fighting. I'm not into that either, Sorry.
Well, Trump says Orban is very respected and very strong.
Well, that doesn't mean it doesn't mean that he's not.
He's very friendly with Putin too, and
Yeah.
Donnie's friendly.
Who beat Orban? Who beat him? Who beat Orban?
A conservative.
No, what's his name?
Peter Magar.
What's his
like that?
something like that? And what's his platform?
He's conservative.
No. Like what's his like President Trump? Build the wall. Mexico's going to pay. What's his platform? And what's Orban's platform? What are their platforms and policies? Do you even know?
Yeah, well, in Orban's case, it's destroying the media.
No, those are vague generalities. Those are vague generalities. See, this is how you liberal losers with Trump derangement syndrome and never Trumpers are. Okay, anything that you can connect a loss to Trump with, you get all excited about. You don't care what it is, right? If the Artemis flight would have ended in disaster, you would have been happy because he's the president, right? So what? Who cares? I care about America, not Hungary.
That's absurd and that's inflammatory.
God forbid God forbid we upset people in a listening audience. Who cares about Hungary? What is the number one let me ask you this. If Hungary did not exist today, right? What would the world not have?
I have no idea.
You know what the answer is? I'll tell you the answer. We would nothing. It might even take us a week to know it. If maybe even longer.
Well,
who cares about Hungary? Not me.
I don't really care about.
Well, then why'd you bring? Well, that's what. Well, that answers your question. That's why I'm not talking about it. No one cares.
Donnie really.
Donnie?
Donnie really cares.
You mean Donnie Osmond?
Yeah, Donnie really.
Osmond. Donnie. Why is Donnie Osmond interested in Hungary?
Donnie Trump, the pedophile.
No, I don't know who that. Oh, now you're trying to get hung up on. I don't know who Donnie is.
Hey, remember the other day?
No. What's Marie think? Oh my goodness. Do you think losing weight is impossible, even hard? Do you think you have to starve yourself, work out all the time and kill yourself, eat foods that are awful, or starve yourself and be hungry all the time and never feel full? None of that's true with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. With Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I lost about 1 pound a day without any exercise and without starving myself, right? Without any pills and without any injections. And, it's really an amazing thing, that you can lose weight without exercise. And I'm so glad that I did it this way. Not just because I lost the weight and I kept it off, but keeping it off is so easy because I didn't have any big lifestyle changes. If I went through some lifestyle changes where I had to do this ridiculous, difficult exercise routine, had to starve myself and eat foods that I didn't like, do you think I would have kept the weight off? No, I would not have kept the weight off. I would have gained it back. But with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, none of those things are true. So keeping the weight off, I find it easier than actually losing the weight, even though it was pretty easy. I've not struggled to keep the weight off. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. Remember, they can help you lose weight no matter where you're located. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossSecret.com. All right, yeah, you're going to hear a lot in the news about Hungary. Orban had been the leader of Hungary for like 16 years. He's had a good run. And I know there's all kinds of questions about how the new guy came in. I don't know. I haven't really been following it. I don't care about Europe. Do you care about Europe? I don't care about Europe. Who cares? Liberals are always obsessed with what Europe thinks and what's going on with Europe. Not me. I'm concerned about what's going on here and how our lives are better. And, a lot of conservatives have gotten very obsessed with Hungary. Tucker was very obsessed with Hungary for a while and would travel over there. And I always thought it was kind of weird. and it almost kind of became like almost like a fad for liberals after Tucker started this to go to Hungary. It was like there was this fad among conservatives for a while to be into Andrew Tate and his weirdo brother. I'm not into fads. I'm into the long game, and the MAGA movement. Well, we're the long game of making America great again. So just to sum up where we began, just great things happening. President Trump has taken all of the Iranian oil business and moved it to the United States. And since yesterday, these tankers have been steaming full steam ahead, flank speed to the United States. They're empty, and they're going to buy raw crude from the United States. It doesn't get better than that. It's going to be such a boom to this economy. And don't let anyone tell you about it driving up our gas. It's not. This thing in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz will be settled, and there'll be stability, and prices will go back to normal at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later, but they will. But don't let people tell you that it's going to drive our gas prices up, because not only do we produce more oil and have more oil than any other country in the world, we produce more oil than we have the refinery capacity for, because liberals have stopped us from building new refineries. So we have a lot of excess crude oil, and that's what we're going to be selling. And just today, I drove by 3 gas stations on my way to Starbucks. Every gas station, the gas was under $4. And the lowest I got here was $3.74 this morning for a gallon of regular unleaded. Pretty good deal, $3.74. After all this has happened, and it will go down even more when things are settled. And I was live streaming on YouTube, and I showed I'm glad I was able to show it and take a screenshot of the video. But if you go on my YouTube channel, you can watch the video. $3.74 a gallon. I've got the sign, and I took a screenshot and put a picture of it on my X, Brian Craig Show on X. When I was talking last week about the low gas prices on the Gas Buddy app, you wouldn't believe how many people gave me. It's not me, it's Gas Buddy that people are reporting this. Gas is under $4. Now, I wish it was $1 a gallon. Don't get me wrong. $3.74. I'd like to pay $1 a gallon. I wish it would go back. When I first started driving, I could get gas for under $1 a gallon. When I had my first car, I could get gas for 88 cents a gallon. And I remember when Super went up to $1.25, I was like, oh my goodness, $1.25 for Super unleaded. This is crazy. But now it's $3.74. It's under $4. So, you can pay more if you want, but if you get the Gas Buddy app, you can find it for under $4, at least here in sunny South Florida. Listen, Monday show's in the can. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We're here every morning from 6 until 9 a.m. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you tell all your friends about our radio station, whichever radio station you're listening to us on, and spread the word, all right? And we'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And we didn't get to talk about Swallwell too much, but sadly, he dropped out of the race. I really wanted him to stay in, but oh well, can't win them all. Take care, everyone. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. See you tomorrow. All right, we're clear. Against my better judgment, I'm going to take a call, maybe 2, before I sign off. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, good morning, Brian. It's CC from Texas.
Hey.
I do want to make one interesting comment about the Hungary elections that may interest you in the audience. Since I saw it popping up on X and whatnot, I happened to listen to the speech, and I actually did see the platform. And this is a good lesson for Americans in the 2026 election. His platform was really, it was like anti-Zelensky. He just kept emphasizing that, kind of like anti-Trump. I saw a big similarity there. I mean, and this is just me doing a very casual peruse, so
Well, I know much more about it than I let on with that caller. I just didn't feel that the caller was worth my time to get into it because he was, you know what I mean. He didn't know what he was talking about. But the reality is the Soros organization was very much involved in that race in Hungary, and Elon Musk posted on X last night that George Soros now runs Hungary, right? Right, the Soros Foundation. So that was a factor. So. What went on behind the scenes with that election, I don't know. But when someone's been running a country, I'm not in a rush. Just let me finish. When someone's been running a country for 16 years, even if they lose, have they really lost? You understand what I mean? I mean, he's been running the country a long time. So it's not some hard hitting, devastating loss, in my view.
Yeah. The other point I wanted to make was on this guy who was cloaking himself as a conservative. Hopefully he is. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. You know, I'm like you.
If the Soros organization's behind him, how conservative can he be?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But he ran a very conservative.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was very, but conservative platform. So that was the take, kind of like Sandberger in Virginia. Mm-hmm. You know, she ran to the middle, but she went far left when she started governing.
Yeah.
And I hope for the sake of the Hungarians that it is not that bad, but it probably.
You know, I just can't get myself to worry about Europe has caused us nothing but problems. Always. I mean, I appreciate them sending out the explorers and settling our great country. But after that, they've done nothing but screw up the world. They've given us plagues and world wars and another war going on right now. And it's just, I'm sick of Europe. I could care less about Europe. They're not, basically Europe is a big tourist trap. It's like south of the border. You guys know south of the border off I-95? That's Europe.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's true.
I did notice that
it's true.
I was looking at a flight radar last night, and they apparently are allowing us to take our flights in and out of there. And I think Israel had, oh gosh, I forgot what the name of that country was. They were able to detour there. So it seems like they are, maybe they don't want to say it publicly, but behind the scenes they are helping more now.
Who's helping? Europe?
I forgot which country was allowing Israel to land to take a detour. And there are several flights that are going in and out from America, and they are obviously using the airways over.
Our stealth bombers, they're so highly secretive. We don't let them land outside of the United States unless there's something unusual. They all fly out of the United States. But I know what you mean. But so Europe, I get where Europe's coming from. They're basically Muslim countries, half of them, and they're worried about uprisings in their country if they back Israel or us against Iran. It's really out of fear.
Yeah, it's a sad situation.
Yeah.
But that whole thing about strong men and fine, so.
Well, liberals don't like strong men. They don't like strong men. They like weak, wimpy men.
Yeah, very true.
Mm-hmm. All right, I appreciate the call. All right, I appreciate the call. All right. It's a little bit of the post show. The radio show's over, but I'll go a little bit longer. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
David in Florida.
Oh, hey, David. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, remember when President Trump...
Well, listen. I'm going to tell you. Okay, I put you back on because the radio show's over and I knew it was you. Okay, because I wanted to talk to you. All right. No, I'm serious. I don't mind people giving me oppositional calls. By the way, the rest of you on hold, hang in there for a second. But I knew it was you. You called. This is your third call today, right? Unless I've lost track. I don't mind people calling in that are giving me problems. Okay, or disagreeing with me. That's cool, right? I don't want to live in an echo chamber, and I don't want to take callers that just agree with me. I only have one rule next to the profanity, but one rule is one call per show. And you are a good caller because no, hold on. I like that you bring up this wackadoodle liberal position, but it's just one call per show. I've warned you about that. Why?
I hear you. No, I respect
So
that.
if I don't want to ban you. Hold on. We'll finish with this conversation. But if you continue to do it, if you continue to do it, I'm going to have to discontinue your participation, and I don't want to do that because you don't answer questions, but you give me a chance to make some points. So just limit it to a show in the future, or okay. I talked to you about this last week and you didn't obey it, but if you continue to do it, if you continue to do it, I'm going to ban you. And if you get on the air, I'll hang up on. I'll stop you from calling. And if you squeeze on the air, I'll just hang up on you. So, and I don't want to do it because
all right, that's fine.
All right, we got a deal. All right.
You're being very rational, very fair, no problem.
All right.
So why do you think I'm liberal?
You could be a Republican who's a rhino, never Trumper, but you're certainly a never Trumper because all of your questions involve negativity about President Trump.
Maybe because there's a lot to be negative about.
I disagree. But listen, I got to run. But if you keep that agreement, right, we'll have a future together. Okay? Oh my goodness, you got to have some rules, and that's just. And the profanity isn't my rule. That's the government because on the radio you can't use profanity. Listen, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. And guys, also please like the video. When you like the video, it helps get the channel recommended to people that have not yet found me. So please like the video. That helps so much, guys. And after you like the video, if you get the hype option available and you do that, that helps a lot too. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you this afternoon on the next program. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you then. Take care.